Welcome to History Unfolded, the Cold War Chronicles. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of the most intense and intriguing periods of modern history, the Cold War. We'll be answering a fundamental question. What were the main causes of the Cold War? To understand the origins of the Cold War, we must first look at the ideological clash between the United States and the Soviet Union. The end of World War II left these two superpowers with starkly different visions for the post-war world. The United States, championing democracy and capitalism, sought to foster open markets and political freedom. In contrast, the Soviet Union aimed to spread its model of communism, favoring state control over the economy and a single-party political system. This fundamental divergence in ideology set the stage for a prolonged geopolitical standoff as both nations endeavored to propagate their own systems globally. Another significant cause of the Cold War was the power vacuum in Europe following the devastation of World War II. Germany, once a formidable power, lay in ruins and was subsequently divided into occupation zones controlled by the Allied powers. This division, particularly in the city of Berlin, soon became a physical and ideological frontline. The United States and its allies were wary of Soviet intentions, particularly as the Red Army remained ensconced in Eastern Europe, installing pro-Soviet regimes in countries like Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. The Western powers perceived this as Soviet expansionism, further heightening tensions. The development and use of nuclear weapons also played a crucial role in fostering Cold War hostilities. The United States' decision to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki not only ended World War II, but also demonstrated to the Soviets the formidable military power the U.S. possessed. In response, the Soviet Union accelerated its own nuclear program, successfully testing its first atomic bomb in 1949. This nuclear arms race created a climate of mutual suspicion and fear, as both superpowers developed increasingly destructive arsenals capable of causing unprecedented devastation. Furthermore, the breakdown of wartime alliances and agreements cemented the adversarial stance between East and West. The Yalta and Potsdam conferences, intended to establish a post-war order, instead highlighted the deep-seated mistrust and conflicting agendas of the Allied leaders. While there were initial attempts at cooperation, such as the formation of the United Nations, these efforts were overshadowed by growing animosities. The Western powers grew increasingly alarmed by the spread of communism in Eastern Europe, while the Soviets viewed the Marshall Plan and the establishment of NATO as direct threats to their security. Lastly, domestic politics and economic conditions in both the U.S. and the Soviet Union exacerbated Cold War tensions. In America, anti-communist sentiment, fueled by events such as the Red Scare and McCarthyism, led to a highly polarized political climate. Leaders like President Truman and later, Eisenhower, adopted aggressive foreign policies aimed at containing communism. Meanwhile, in the Soviet Union, Stalin's regime promoted an image of an encircled and threatened socialist state, justifying its authoritarian control and emphasizing the importance of consolidating power in the face of capitalist aggression. In essence, the Cold War was birthed by a combination of ideological opposition, geopolitical maneuvering, nuclear brinkmanship, failed diplomatic efforts, and internal political dynamics. This complex interplay of factors sowed the seeds for a protracted conflict that would define international relations for the latter half of the 20th century. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the key events, figures, and moments that shaped this extraordinary period in history.